getting ready for the Super Bowl to kick off several hours from now. If I look a little rough, it's because I've been tossing and turning, agitated, aggravated, and all of that, trying to wait for this game to take place. Very, very interesting matchup. Been a very interesting week building up to this clash. First, you had the Hall of Famers, Michaelirvin, Brett Favre, Shannon Sharpe, all embroiled in some kind of controversy, intertwined with new Hall of Famers being inducted. We got those old timers, Kenriley and Chuckhowley, finally getting into the Hall. I'm not certain. I think Chuck's still alive, but I know Ken Riley, he passed a couple years ago. And I actually had a chance to talk to Ken Riley. When I first got to Florida A&M, Ken Riley was the head coach, and I called myself walking on. I walk in the front door, I'm ready to do my paperwork. And the first person I run into is Coach Riley. He say, "Man, you don't like you ready to play no football." So I, not too polished at the time. I don't know what I said, but we both agreed that, you'll get on the weight pile and try it again next time. Well, I did come back, but he wasn't the head coach anymore. But I had to follow his advice that day. I probably should have stayed on out there and see what I can do. But yeah, I talked to Ken Riley and I met his son, who was also on the team at the time, Ken too. So congratulations to the Riley family for father Ken Riley getting to the Hall of Fame. Now, we know that Michael Irvin has been accused of some misgivings at the Marriott, but it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of proof out there about what he did. Excuse me. There's not a whole lot of proof about what he did. So realizing that, Irvin is fighting back by suing. He's going to sue for $100 million. So you're going to accuse me, and you're not going to have the accusers come out front and say exactly what I did or state your case. There's no evidence there. They're just like writing in English. You could say whatever you want, but if you can't prove it, then it's an invalid argument. And it looks like the Marriott and his staffer, they have invalid arguments. But let's get to the point today. The Super Bowl is a very, very interesting matchup. You got the Eagles, who've been playing the best football all year consistently, against the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs. Now let's talk about the Eagles. The Eagles begin and end with Jalen Hurts. Hurts is the thing that makes the offense go. He's a unique player. He's the kind of player that everybody wants to rally around and play for, and he keeps things going. They've been hitting on all cylinders all year, except for the time that he got injured. They did lose that one game when they pretty much got outplayed, but they come back and they played consistent ball except for the time he got hurt. Minshew came in and played admirably, but he doesn't have that same kind of it factor that Hurts has. So as long as Hurts is efficient and up and ready to play, the Eagles offense is going to produce. So today, Hurts, as far as I know, is at full speed. Because of that full speed, the Eagles offense is going to be at full speed today. So what's it going to take is be able to run the football and keep spreading them out wide like you've been doing all year long, and you're going to be able to score some points. Now the Chiefs, they've been playing pretty good defense. Nobody's been saying much about the Chiefs' defense. They're going to have to try to slow the Eagles down to make this a competitive game. Now on the flip side, the Chiefs' offense, they kind of like Buffalo in a lot of ways. They up and down. They would go and score a lot of points, and then they'd slow down or do something to let the other team get back into the game, which that inconsistency is not going to be good today. Now, when the Chiefs have the ball, because they no longer have Travis Kelce, not Travis Kelce, but Tyreek Hill, they're going to have to make sure that Kelce gets the ball. Their whole offense this year has been to make sure they get Kelce off. If you're on the flip side and the Eagles need to know that they need to slow Kelce first. If they can slow Kelce, keep Mahomes in the pocket, that would make it easier for the Eagles to contain the Chiefs offense. Now, last game, the 49ers had a very, very powerful offense, but the 49ers had no depth at quarterback. Once Purdy got hurt, they had nowhere else to turn. I think that the 49ers would have been very, very favorable against the Eagles defense had they been at full strength. But it wasn't to be for San Francisco. But with the defense today for the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, but the Eagles, they're going to have to play the same way they played up to this point. But I think to control the Chiefs, you'll have to take away Kelsey. You're not going to fully take him away. You're going to be able to slow him just by putting a little pressure on Kelsey. You have to bracket him, and then you have to keep Mahomes in the pocket. But before I even get a full explanation on that, how about this? Let's talk about Cincinnati. Cincinnati, yes, that was a tough call they got at the end of that game. That was clearly a late hit, but it should have never came down to that. Zach Taylor, you said that, well, that play didn't cost us the game because we lost a lot of other plays that we probably should have made. That probably cost us this game. Well, Taylor is correct, but I don't think it's so much as the plays they made, it's the game plan. It's the second year in a row that the Bengals coaching staff has blown the game. Here you have a gimpy Patrick Mahomes who can't only roll but so far to his right and definitely not to his left, and you sit back and let him get comfy in the pocket. I didn't see a whole lot of blitzes that game. If you had blitzed Mahomes and got him off his spot and pushed him to his left, that would have put tremendous pressure on an ankle, which I don't think would have been able to hold up the entire game. So I told you before in the Super Bowl last year that if they had just run those crossing routes 2 or 3 times in a row, that would have made a big difference in taking down the Rams. But they come out and they run those crossing routes on first down, get 6 or 7 yards, and then try to run the ball to get the first down. They got stuffed. So now you got to pass on 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4, and the Rams won both of those opportunities. The game started that way. The first drive and the last drive were both the same. So they blew the Super Bowl, and then not going on to Mahomes in the championship game, that cost him another trip to the Super Bowl. The Eagles, I don't think they're going to allow Mahomes to get too comfy in the pocket. What they need to do is rush, put some pressure on him, put a bracket on Kelsey to slow him down, and I think they're going to be fine. Now, when the Eagles have the ball, it was ironic that the Eagles, they're the kind of team from years ago, Buddy Ryan had them. He showed you how to play against teams like the Eagles. If you're going to go 4 and 5 wide, they're going to spread you out trying to get some open spaces. And you either need to do one or two things. You're either going to there, or you got to come up with some kind of exotic defense. Well, Buddy Ryan came up with the exotic defense zone. He just let Haywood Jeffers and all those guys catch the ball. When they caught the ball, he lit them up. Well, you can't necessarily do that. You can play that defense, but you got to make sure you hit them in the right spot when you tackle them. If you look too vicious when you're tackling the defenders, the receivers nowadays, they may just call a penalty. So what do? You just grab him, hold him, and gently put him to the ground. We're still talking about men 250 pounds and above, but you're just going to wrap him up gently so he doesn't ding his head and all of that. I don't know how the hell you're going to play football like that, but that's just the way things are going. But I don't want to diverge on something like that. But anyway, my pick today, I think the Eagles will find a way to slow Kelsey down enough. And I don't think this game is going to get out of the 30s. I think the Chiefs will slow the Eagles down a little bit, but the Eagles will slow the Chiefs down just enough to pull this game out. I am going to go with the Eagles 27-21 to win Super Bowl 57. So what say you? I'm trying to see if I'm going to get any kind of comments, but like I say, I may say the greatest thing in the world, but I don't get any views or followers. But that's just the way it is. I'm talking to get my opinions out there on record so I can come back and say, look, I said this. Right or wrong, this is what I said. So one of these days I get me some viewers like everybody else. But anyway, Eagles, I think, going to win this one 27-21. And hopefully Michael Irvin can solve his issues. Brett Favre needs to drop that suit against Shannon Sharpe and face the music for what he did do in that Mississippi welfare scandal. But those are all interesting topics. Until next time, oh yeah, I'll be on tonight spotting. We'll be talking, and we'll be analyzing and talking about what's taking place during the game. I won't do the whole game, but I will come in live and do certain spots. So enjoy the game. Sports for real.